All right, here we are again, live, 4 days out. And I guess people, government, and stuff, uh, they're actually thinking there will be issues next Tuesday or the day after, one or the other. Uh, I guess Washington, D.C. is getting all boarded up, like waiting for a hurricane or natural disaster. They said they're activating the National Guard. Uh, and actually, my wife was telling me one of her coworkers, her husband said that maybe they should take the day off and spend it out of town, out of the city. I don't know. Uh, only be issues, but actually, seeing what I'm seeing and seeing what's going on, I don't see how he can lose. Okay, I mean, I think the people in charge now are throwing that woman under the bus. I mean, they're not helping her with a lot of the things they're saying and doing. I mean, it's crazy. Precious metals market, glad you asked. Let me do a quick check. Do 32.54. All right, with the metals, uh, I watched a guy that is an analyst, and he said there's this rhythm, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, and he's kind of right. And he was showing, he in his estimation, he says that at 32, once we got over to 32, we're not going back down. He said we'll see a correction where it'll go to 31 something. If you want to get in on the silver, that's time to get it. Because I was looking, there was a couple new rounds that come out. But if I buy four of them or something, that's $200 or whatever. Um, they're saying it's going to go way up to 50. That's what he's thinking by the end of the year. Or a lot of it too is going to happen in the first quarter. The first 3 months of next year after this election is going to be really weird in terms of finances, politics, or who knows. Uh, but it's kind of up to you. If you're the type of person that buys a little bit every month, or buys, like I buy a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. I don't walk into a place and lay down 10 grand and say, give me 10 grand of metals. There are people that do that. They walk into some of these places and they drop all of it at once. I just buy some odds and ends. They go up. Like I don't buy Eagles at all because of the premium on them. But is it gonna shoot up or is it gonna drop down or stay at like 32 bucks an ounce? For a while. And it's up to you. And if you buy when it's high and there's a big correction and it goes down, you got to hold the stuff. When it happened to me, I held stuff and bought some at the lower rate for 17 years. Okay. At my age, when you start saying 17 years, it's like, will I still be here or will I still be able to think clearly or walk or whatever 17 years from now? Uh, but this dude said, watch it, it's 32 and a half. It drops down into 31 if you wanted to buy uh, some silver. Gold is up there, 2,700. You know, I don't know how high it's going to go. or how, if it'll stay there. And you know, if you buy it premium, if 2,700 an ounce turns into 2,800 and something an ounce, there's a percentage that they mark it up. It's usually, I don't know, anywhere from 6 to 10. It depends, okay, who you're dealing with. But yeah, I mean, you'd have to see silver go to 3 grand for you could walk away at spot and try to get your money back. So that's a tough call. Um, like I said, it depends what you're buying. Like I may go and buy a couple $100 worth of silver rounds just for that. But like I said, I'm not going to go drop a couple grand or 5 grand or something. You know, because I don't know where it goes. And then trying to turn it back into cash is tough. They say it's like a zoo. A lot of these guys on YouTube are saying they're coming in. He said he bought 2 collections halfway through the day, and he's already at 46,000 that he paid out. That's what he's taking in. You know, so that's a tough one. Trump calling Puerto Ricans garbage is going to cost him Pennsylvania at least. Trump didn't call the Puerto Ricans garbage. I think it was a comedian or something that was on the stage with him. I didn't see it. I don't know, but why? Because there's a lot of Puerto Ricans that live in Pennsylvania. It's not going to be go no matter good, no matter who wins. That's true. Yeah, it wasn't Trump. Right, and then it gets twisted. You said garbage and Puerto Rico in the same sentence, so we have to make it a derogatory thing. Mimi's, what happened? The gold standard when the government murdered a sitting president, lied about Pearl Harbor, the Great Depression. Well, a lot of those things that happened back during the Depression and leading up to World War II and all that other stuff, it's the same thing. I had that one sociologist. What's his name? Hansen or something. But he's an educated man, and he gives the opinion, and he says we have not had such a far left government since Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and he kind of did. I don't know what he served 4 terms or something. That's when they had to change the law. Uh, all that stuff was going on in the background because they had that secretary of his that he was fooling around with, and this old lady pops off in a nursing home at 96 or something. It was about 10 years ago. And they find this diary. And in the diary, this woman used to care for him because he really couldn't walk well or something. And he told her about the D-Day invasion, you know, like weeks before it happened. So he was telling this super high level, uber top secret crap to the secretary. And then that he said once the war ends, and this is the curious, and they published this, this was out published, the thing of this diary, that he was telling her that he's going to resign as the president of the United States and he wants to strike a deal with Stalin to co-rule the world through the United Nations. Okay, that was his goal. It's good to have goals. Okay, but they were going to go with a one world government after World War II. See, the atomic bomb changed everything. Okay, and truthfully, this war dragging on in the Ukraine is a bunch of BS. Okay. Now you look at the Middle East, that's kind of really a war. I mean, they're destroying swaths of land. And the whole idea is, I guess, is to flatten all that stuff in the disputed area, either displace the people or kill them, and then absorb that to expand the boundaries of the country. Um, and these missile barrages, there's no giant troop movements. There's nothing like that. It's like the Gulf War. What were they over? The second one, when we invaded Iraq, it was over in a matter of a couple of weeks, not even a month. Okay, we took the country over and had it occupied for 15 friggin' years or something, you know. And so modern warfare, that's the way it's fought. Okay, that's the way it should be over in a few months. This dragging on for a year or 2 years or whatever. Actually, since 2014, more like 10 years. Okay, this has been going on for 10 years. Okay, and the people, most of the people that live in that part of the Ukraine are Russian anyway, or part Russian, or half Russian, or whatever. All right, so again, this is insanity. And ever since the fall of the Soviet Union, you know, you think we got corruption and stuff? You should see how the Ukraine was run. They had a 400 or 250 page constitution or something like that, you know, with enough loopholes in there that the friggin', and it took them, I don't know how many years, 3 or 4 years or something to finalize it or ratify it. It's crazy. Reading comments. All right. All right. The problem is that lithium mine has been there for a while. Mining does go on there. Okay. And it's Chimney Rock is the town, and that town got flattened. It's gone. There is a rumor, or people say, I guess they're not going to dig mines like gophers anymore. They strip mine. Okay, they just dig a giant pit. Well, that takes, you have to have a huge area of the land to do that. Okay, so some say, and it's kind of like, well, it's like Katrina. That one neighborhood there, something about that state, they voted not to raise property taxes in 1910 or 1908. So these people have been living there, families or whatever, and I believe it was an ethnic community, had these houses in this area, okay, and they're not generating any money. The state's broke. Uh, you know, that's like the party capital of the U.S. for Mardi Gras. So they wanted them people the hell out of there. First thing they did is they transported a bunch of people. How they survived in that sports arena or whatever it was, that was hell on earth. They take them, they transport them away, they condemn the houses, tear them all down, and then rezone it from residential to commercial, and somebody's going to make a lot of money. Uh, Same thing here, and natural disaster is perfect. A lot of these people, okay, don't have homeowners insurance because they can't afford to pay it or something. And maybe their families have owned, because actually that one individual uh, I said that had family there when this person's grandmother passed away. the family was going to give her the house and property, which there's no mortgage or nothing on it. And, homeowners insurance, you don't have to have it. Um, depending on the condition of the property, or just if you don't have the money, I guess there's people out there that don't have it. So once your house is washed away, if you aren't paying like almost $2,000 a friggin' month to have that's about what I pay, but I'm 100% covered, and I'm covered for, you know, they're not saying that, all right, it's like a used car. You wreck your car's 20 years old. They ain't going to pay you the same as if the car is 2 years old, because the value goes down. That's why that clause, and which makes the house insurance more expensive, is they pay me for new construction, not for depreciated value of my home over the years. Okay, and it does make a difference, because you can end up, if you get one of them cut rate insurance policies and a tree falls and knocks a hole in the roof, they say you can't live there. You got to pack your shit up, get out of the house, and wait for somebody to come repair the roof, and then pay them. Okay, and that could cost about half of what I paid for this house to begin with to repair some kind of major damage like that. All right, so they say that these people got washed out. They're trying to go buy up the property, and I don't know if they got money to rebuild or whatever, but they're trying to squeeze them out. All right, that could be true. I don't know. Okay, I'd have to ask that individual if they heard rumors of that, because they do have someone living right around there. But it could be possible. I mean, they've done it in the past. There's several instances where they need to build a highway or something through an old neighborhood, and it's not like the old days. It's not like the 60s and 70s where they'll come in and pay you more than what the property's worth to make you leave. Okay, they don't want to pay you nothing, and they want to just confiscate it, because we're 35 trillion in debt. All right, so yeah, those days are gone. But there is a lithium mine in there. See, and I think whenever you look at these mines now, the open pit mines is what they do. Okay, because the way that area is, carving and going down, 1,000 feet down a shaft or something like that, that's difficult and expensive, I believe. You know, so I don't know if that's the thing, or if they want the people out because the mineral rights. See, that's another thing. My father said, when you buy property, make sure that you something about mineral rights. Okay, if you're sitting on top of a huge pool of oil or something, or whatever, or something underneath your home, or air rights. You see in New York City, they got a little building that's been there forever, and they build this uh, office building, goes up 6 floors and comes out over the top of the house, because they either sold the air rights or they don't have the rights to the airspace at a certain level above the structure. That's crazy stuff, and who knows? But yes, lithium's a big deal. They say that there's $2 trillion worth of lithium in Afghanistan. Because, like, I was wondering, who would fight a war over that place? There's nothing but rocks, dust, and some goats. And the only two things that come out of that country is heroin and that gemstone. Lapis lazuli is found there, like nowhere else. That's it. Okay. Let me see if I even got that little ring. It was here. I had a ring with that stone in there, that gemstone. But then somebody made an independent film and showed that the reason the U.S. was there is because there's $2 trillion worth of lithium in that country. And at the end of that movie, they said that J.P. Morgan Investment Company owns 52% of the rights to mine that stuff. And that was what a big problem with the Afghanis is these corporations come in and swindle them out of this. And these people are poor. And you're going to take $2 trillion worth of their natural resources out of the country and give them nothing. I mean, that's the way it goes. So yeah, it's probably possible. They do it there. Why won't they do it here? Nobody comments or asks questions. Okay, eminent domain. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Well, my father bought a home, paid 30 years on the mortgage. Okay, his monthly payment. Homeowners insurance, the whole 9 yards, taxes. He retired. He paid the house off, and my mother said because they keep raising the taxes there every year by like 10% or something, 12%. Uh, he ended up paying more a month. If he took his tax payment for the year and divided it by 12, he was paying more a month to keep the house than he was when he owed money on the house, had a mortgage on it. He was paying more than his mortgage after all those years. Yes, and a lot of people told me um, that when they get to my age and they pay their house off, they said they're going to give it to the kids. He goes, because my children, even though they have jobs and careers and that, he goes, they'll never be able to afford a home. You know, so he goes, I told my kids, just keep paying the tax, keep the house up because you're never going to, that's what this guy told me. It sounds pretty true. It depends on your situation. If you got a lot of kids, it could be a friggin' problem. Y'all votes irrelevant. That could be true. That is a way to look at it. All of this has been determined, and what's going to happen in the next 30 years is already in the works, agreed upon, and probably will not change. The only thing that I know, it's not gonna be good for people in general. But like I said, getting back to the topic, there are people that are truly nervous, around here locally. Okay, we like I said, I don't live in the city. And when they did have unrest and protests and all that before the last elections, uh, it was in cities. Greensboro had something. I don't think they had anything in Winston. These little small towns, there were no demonstrations or anything. Um, it all kind of also, there's a lot of colleges. There's colleges in Greensboro. There's schools down in Charlotte. Okay. There's, Durham's a hot spot, Raleigh, all these cities that have a high cost of living. They have people that earn more. I think my county, I think the average income is, for the last time we checked, was like $29,000 a year or something. A lot of farmland where I live, and a lot of these places they did have a Tyson chicken factory or chicken processing plant. Yeah, they closed that. And there was a company made yarn, hosiery, and they were factories that were there, I guess, since like the 20s or something. And all these businesses went out. We had, I think, Winston Salem had Levi's, where they made the blue jeans. And there were people there that were dye specialists that made like $25 an hour because this was, it's basically like a chemist. You'd have to prepare everything and that. That's gone. Okay, so we lost a lot of these older style places because they're being done in these foreign countries like China. I guess Vietnam is now the place where all this stuff is going because they don't have any laws about polluting the land or care, and they pay people $60 a month. Okay, and that's why we have all this. You supposedly lithium in Minnesota too. Too. I'm not on the edge. No, I said on edge as in fearful of violent outbursts. Okay. Um, it's not a matter of who's voting on edge. People are on edge and nervous to where my wife's coworker, her husband said, take the day off and let's drive out of the city and go somewhere, not be inside the city during election day. And I said, that's kind of foolish. Uh, I said, I don't really believe there will be, unless people are going to try to stop the election. But I haven't heard of that. I think the day after the election is the one that things are going to get insane. Okay, because I'm not going to sit up all night to wait for all the results to get in. You got to remember, there's the east, the west coast, and everything. Yeah, it's crazy. But people are, and like I said, Washington D.C. They're talking. They're going to have the National Guard on alert or out. They're already boarding up shop windows and stuff. I don't know if they're going to have problems at supposedly the polling places. I guess ballot boxes. I guess you fill them out. In some states, it's usually Washington State and like in Oregon. Uh, I guess you fill your ballot out and put it into a collection box as a form of early voting or something. I don't know. And somebody set fire, two or three of them. Um, it's idle things. Life of Brian. So that's what people are nervous about. See, it's hard to say because then you had the conspiracy people saying that the CIA is going to have the riots for hire. Okay, and they said it was curious that whenever these things happened in these major cities, that days before it happened, curiously, these mysterious individuals went and placed on pallets rocks and pipes and stuff and everything. And this was all staged. And there was a rumor that there was stuff lying around in Greensboro when they went and smashed windows and all these shops downtown and in the business district. Um, and really, I don't understand why they don't call in the National Guard, cordon off the area, and arrest and detain everyone on the street, and then take them to somewhere, the detention center, and just like the military, barbed wire fences and tents, and park their asses there and sort all this out. Okay, see, they don't do that. And then people said that they were beating up Trump supporters, which that's another thing. It's like, walking down the street wearing his hat and somebody physically attacks me. What's the point? Okay, it's not going to change my opinion. Uh, Chances are you might catch a bullet if you try that. But or the other way around, to physically attack people from an opposing political point of view. Um, that's not going to change anything. It's not going to help the national deficit. It's not going to make politicians non-corrupt. Okay, and I kind of don't understand this. It's kind of childish, insane behavior. All right. All right. Here we go. Have my Google Assistant checked in. I've been getting spammed. I don't know if it's political or trying to sell me, like I said, health insurance, funeral arrangement plans. Ah, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Um, because you wonder where these people get these things to fling in the air at the riot police. But yeah, I don't know. So I guess it's a waiting game. We wait, we see what goes on. But other than that, the only other thing is sales are going crazy. There's a lot of buys on guns out there, guns and ammo. It's pretty dirt cheap, and I don't think it's going to get any lower than what it is. Reloading components and that are still sky high, but some people say that's under another plan that where they paid these companies or pressured them to not produce stuff available to the regular retail channels for people like us. Obviously, you know, materials being supplied to companies because, like I said, you see there's an excess of ammunition and the prices is the lowest I've seen since they got jacked up, you know, 6 years ago or something. They're I haven't seen them this low for a long time. And with inflation and the cost of everything, everyone goes, "Oh, they just announced they're going to have percentage in January." Well, they do that every year. So to see them prices on some stuff down that low with the increases means they have a surplus of it. And that's how that's going to go. All right. Gonna get this multiple. And let's see. Yeah. So another thing is, somebody mentioned the precious metals, which is fluctuating. The stock market was all in the red when I checked that page. They had the three indexes up there, and they were down over 1 point something percent. Now they're all going back up, and you really can't tell what's going to go on. I'm more worried about the economy collapsing. There's a lot of people out of work. Things ain't getting any cheaper. Everybody's freaking out, and you know it's not good. It's something to worry about. Wonder why water cannons haven't been implemented in these peaceful. See, this is the thing. They're not trying to control it. Like it just goes out of control. It's like that kid that was patrolling with an AR-15, and I forget, it was up there in Illinois or whatever. Why is somebody like that patrolling? Where are the police? Where's the National Guard? And somehow there's an altercation. he fires a rifle and hits an individual that was also armed, which I believe you're not supposed to go to demonstrations, concealed carry permits or not. You're not supposed to be armed at any type of protest, demonstration, or public gathering. Okay, that's kind of like a universal law. And then this individual was a professional skateboarder or something, and this whole group of people tried crucifying this young man and that, and exactly who's behind it, what organization did they represent, and there's a lot of the blanks, an awful lot of blanks. It's kind of like when you see the censored document and there's a whole page and it's all black for like two sentences only. uh you know what the hell's going on? you know I went to scouting the Boy Scouts. I only had one friend that was an Eagle Scouts. He signed me up for the Army at the beginning. Yeah, it's interesting. Who do I think is going to win? I think Trump's going to win. I don't see how he couldn't. And yes, Mauser won Rittenhouse, and it was Wisconsin. Okay, yeah, I guess Illinois. There's something going on there too. I don't think you can own guns in Chicago, but it was in Wisconsin. And I wonder, like, how did that all happen? It makes no sense to me, because whatever community service or something, the last thing I'm going to do is go somewhere with a rifle to this violent protest. Okay, that's not my job. All right. And then the whole characters, when you try to figure out what happened, how did this come about, why was he there, why was the individual that got shot there, and you know, none of it makes sense. And it's Rittenhouse. There's so much I can't remember anymore. There's so much bullshit and so much crazy stuff. I'm sorry. I can't sort out one crazy scenario from the other. And scouts. Put your children and grandchildren in scouts, survival training for the young. Yeah, see, that's another thing. They destroyed all these programs. Okay, Boy Scouts, 4-H, all of these things have become unraveled. Okay, in our society for whatever reason, and that's the Veterans Post. We got a problem. Nobody joins. I'm the youngest member there. Okay, and I served in Grenada and Beirut. All right. Uh, if any of you remember what that is or what it means, but you know, we spent 20 years on the war on terrorism. So whoever was in the service the last 20 some odd years can join these organizations, but you don't see it because society's changed and how people look at things changed. And all these organizations you mentioned there, Joel, okay, you don't see kids in the Boy Scouts or you don't see scouting like it used to be. Um, Baseball. Baseball was the American sport. My old man loved it. When we were kids, he coached for minor league, little league, and then after we grew out of it, went on. My father stayed there for years and coached uh, those leagues that were sponsored by. It was sponsored by a local veterans post that my dad belonged to. Okay, they were sponsored by large corporations, Tri-State Laundry or whatever, and these different organizations sponsored this stuff. And we had ballparks in the city, like one, two, three, like 6 or 8 of them throughout the city of 120 some odd thousand people. And a lot of them are all gone now. I remember where I played baseball in that. It's an empty lot with landfill and concrete and stuff there. Um, some of the parks are still there that have them. And then there was another place that we used to all play baseball. It was just baseball fields. That's at the edge of town. That's all gone to hell. And I guess they all play soccer now, which is a communist sport, more or less. At least that's what we thought back in the old days. I know it's big in Europe, but that's what it turned into. The Marxist one. Okay. He was from Illinois, but traveled to Wisconsin to protect his friend's store. Okay. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. So I was close. It's something had to do with Illinois, and Wisconsin. Um, you know, I don't know. And like that last comment of the Boy Scouts, yes, there's Boy Scouts, there's Girl Scouts. There's a damn reason for that. Okay, I mean, you can't say it's unfair not to let them be, I guess, woke. Yeah, let's all be woke. It undermines the fabric of society. And like Joel said, you're in the Boy Scouts, and I did learn a lot about woodsmanship, first aid, the fact that you can die of hypothermia when it's like 45 degrees outside, when hiking. You get wet in a rainstorm and it lowers your core temperature and you start to get hypothermia as you're not thinking straight. And it says like you get lost and you wander in the woods and keep going trying to hike out. They explain it to me how you can actually die. And it doesn't have to be freezing, have snow on the ground, or none of that other stuff. Okay. It's like getting in the water off the ship in the ocean. I said, even in the warmest waters of the ocean in the Pacific and that, in the water, unprotected, you ain't gonna live very long. It's a matter of hours for you'll die of hypothermia. In the North Atlantic, it's like less than 10 minutes. In the wintertime, it ain't long. Okay. And these are things you kind of learn, but most people don't care. It's like the woman that almost backed right into me at the post office because she seen me get in my truck, started up. She just fired her vehicle up and just came straight back. It's like, get out of the way or get hit. Okay. It's because our society's become full of people like that if there is any type of computer glitch, any loss of power, any disturbance, it's going to be mayhem. Okay. Uh, really. And it is something to kind of be a little bit frightened about. But what are you going to do? All right. We're up to 20 people. We got some folks showing up. And really, it's counting down like this. Like I said, I really don't think much is going to happen. Uh, it's like Joel's saying, nobody's asking questions or getting into the debate or commenting. Because I've been doing this 50, I went back and checked like 50 days. I've been counting this down since September or something. So, yeah, if you look on my website, most of them lives and the ones not live, I think it started at 50, 48, 49, and now we're down to 6. Today's Friday. Saturday, I might not do anything. I'm going to be busy with the wife. And then Sunday, I have my Sunday live. And then it would be that Monday would be the last one day before election. So Like I said, I'm surprised it kept going this long without running out of things to talk about. Of course, we do talk about other things other than that. Greetings from Ireland. Always watch your video. Yes, yes. I think I remember the username. How are things in Ireland? Really don't hear much about it. I know in the UK there things ain't too hot and kind of got out of control. Um, really don't hear about Ireland much. It's not in there. I don't know if it is or what conditions are or whatever. Uh, but yeah, like I said, been 50 days. It's a lot of broadcasts, but let's check that. Open another tab. Oh, yes. It started off. Yep, the first one I had up there 50 days. 50 days ago. We started the countdown. 4 days left. And so far, let me check my analytics. Whoa, what went on October 30th? 4,389 views. Hmm. Oh, the Tokarev, $100 shotgun thing is what kind of drove it up, man. But all the rest of the stuff too. And my subscribers still at 22,000, even though it says, excuse me, uh, I picked up another 163. That's why you gotta have raccoons. They don't bark. They growl a little and tear each other up from time to time, but they they don't do that. The neighbor, I don't know, he's got these dogs. He trains them because he's there during the day. Like some days, I'll go out in the yard. I don't hear the animals. And then some days, this Doberman comes flying down, foaming at the mouth. And he built a fence about 3 foot from the edge of the property, right by my garage door, because they were barking at the wife when she was pulling out to go to work this morning. All I do is look at him and walk up to him, and walk up slowly in a very calm voice, just ask him, what's the matter, how you doing, and talk to the dog, and it does kind of, it throws him off. He expects me to be afraid and start screaming back at him, and you just talk quietly to him, and then he gets confused and will either stop barking, or when I turn around and walk away, he doesn't do anything. Then I don't hear him for days, no matter what I do. So animals are funny. People are funny. It's like George Thorogood. And now you're funny too. But that's the way it all goes. Well, guys, I do got 22 people here, but like I said, tomorrow probably we will not do a broadcast because that's the day I do things with my wife. And if I do get time, I will, but something tells me we're going to be tied up running errands and doing a lot of stuff. The holidays are coming and she has to work. Uh, they used to give them the day before Thanksgiving off. Now they're not. She used to have that day off, and then that's when she'd go and get all the last minute shopping. And I used to get Thanksgiving and the day after off. She used to do, but after I retired and stopped working, I go with her, and it's mayhem. It is mayhem to go shopping the day before, but so we got all that going. All right then, guys. I got to get back out in the garage. Was working on something. I want to get back out there and get it wrapped up before the wife gets home. But you know, again, had a good turnout. Um, the channel's doing good. I guess cheap Turkish shotguns is a great thing. $100 shotgun or something, and I'm off the charts, and it's looking good for me. I like it. Um, Gives me a break in a way. Um, and that's about it, gentlemen. So, like I said, might not see you till Sunday. Sunday at 10, I do my live. I'm going to stick with that. And maybe I should send an email to see if I can get some guests on there. I know people like that. And we'll use the other format. I didn't realize I only have so many hours free to where we can put the comments down below so anybody that tunes in later on can see what we were all discussing. So that's the game plan, guys. And thanks for showing up. Hit the like button and see you Sunday.